morning. I am running a little bit late this morning. It is January 28th, Friday, January 28th, 2022. I'm gonna keep reminding myself of that. It's the 2022. It takes me about a month and a half to finally get into the new year. Today we have miscellaneous. I have presented this week basic exercises for Tai Chi, for Xing Yi, for Bagua, through this week. I'm going to put it that way. So this series of foundations, what do I consider foundation practice? What is a method? What is something that you can do to address whatever warm-up you need to get going? And there's a whole list of things that I have that go with that. Okay, so what we're going to do right now is practice a little bit, is basic stretches that I've given over and over again. And then I'm going to show a couple of things that come from dance. Very good for footwork, very good for legs. And we'll cover a little bit this idea of what's good for what, right? So I have trouble with my knees. What's going to help me with that? What's going to not help me with that, right? I have a little trouble in my shoulder, my upper back, what, right? Not everybody has the same issues. Not everybody has the same body issues. So what works well for one person may not be what another person needs to do, okay? We need to look at that. Put the coffee down. And then we also want to cover a little bit, particularly since this is the last of these foundation classes, at least for the present, I want to cover a little bit this idea of what are my goals for practice? What am I working for, right? Which warm-ups you choose, what you do on a regular basis is what you're working for. Feet about shoulder width apart, wiggle the toes, bend the knees, open the arms, wiggle the fingers, shoulders down, pull up, arms circle the front, back around to both sides, up along the center line, and reach out. Roll up through the back. And again. Pull up through the front, relax through the back, especially through the hip. Let your hip roll over your leg. One more time. And all the way up. Elbows drop down. Wrists, fingertips, hands return to your sides. All right. This simple stretch, and I've talked about this repeatedly. Just relax for a second. This simple stretch opens up everything. It opens up everything. When it's done fully. Now, how do you get there? We're gonna do an exercise right now that is going to seem, how does this connect to anything related to martial arts? I'll explain. All right, so we have feet about shoulder width apart, bend the knees, relax, arms at your sides, and what we are going to do is to focus on this concept of inner workmanship. What am I paying attention to? What am I trying to do? I'm going to work the upper body, because it's harder to work the lower body. Okay, and work the upper body. And focus starts at the lower dantian, moves up to the middle dantian, moves up through the shoulders and separates. I'm using my hands so you can see this. Separates to come through the shoulders, down the arm, through the elbow, through the forearm, and through the fingers. The exercise that we're going to do to go with this very simple. Raise the arms. Almost the same as when we open here, but this is straight. A little bit of a curve, natural curve. So don't force it to be stiff and straight. Just natural curve. Just a couple of times. The idea behind this exercise, and I've talked about this idea, this concept a lot, that we use the idea behind what we're doing. What's the intent behind this movement? What's the application? For all of the internal arts, we want to start from the inside and work to the outside. It's not, I put my hand here and it just happens to be connected. It's, my arm comes. Starts here, not here. Focus on the lower dantian, middle dantian. See this as you work through this. Visualize inside this idea of water. Water's a good image. Flowing up and out through both the arms, okay? And not from the fingertips out, from the shoulder all the way through. Because whether we're talking about the chi, the flow of chi, which is what we're working on right now, or whether we're talking about the veins and the arteries, they flow through the arm, not from the shoulder to the fingers and back up. It's all connected through here. We want that same connection with the breath, the internal breath, and the movement. Hands at your sides. Pay attention, look inside. Don't look out, don't pay attention outside, look inside. See that connection. It's a connect the dots image. Find the points, fingertips, your elbow, your wrist, your shoulder. Find the points. Look for the middle dantian, the lower dantian. From the lower dantian, the middle dantian, through the shoulders. Bring the arms up. This is very slow. Bring the arms up. You have plenty of time to think about it. Still in the upper arm. The elbows haven't engaged yet. All right, now we have the elbow. Through the forearm to the wrist. Extend the fingers. Reach out. And pull in. Reverse it. From the fingers to the wrist. Relax the forearm. Elbow through the upper arm. The shoulders. To the middle dantian. And back down to the lower dantian. relax. This exercise, slow as it is, and I'm going to talk a little bit about slow and fast practice as well, is one of the best ways to begin this idea that everything moves from the lower dantian outward. Starts here, goes to here, or beyond. If you have sort, a little bit beyond, right? The level of concentration to move slowly and to maintain what we're doing is not small, right? You really have to pay attention. As we do that, everything else falls away. And this is one of the goals for practice, is for everything else to just fall away. All we're paying attention to right now is what we're doing. All right, with that in mind, I'm going to skip over just a little bit to some work that I did in dance that addresses the legs. So this set is also something, just because I have to mention it, is also something that we do in Wudang Qigong. This is Wild Goose Flying. Open the arms. Alright, so that, and it's the same requirement. Alright, so with the leg work, right? As we look to what are some of the basic things that we do, that we need to do in order to open up the hip, open up the legs, develop the strength in the legs to do some of these sets. The single best exercise for that, and I'm going to put my hands here for a second, right here. I'm in second position parallel for ballet. Feet about shoulder width apart. Bend the knees. And straighten. And bend. And straighten. This particular repetition, bend and straighten, and we're going to do this a couple of times, is one of the simplest and one of the most effective ways to build strength in the back of the leg. It is. It is. Just this. The tendency, my own tendency when I first started, was to think that the more complicated stuff was the more valuable because it took more to be able to do it, and so if I could do something that was more complicated, that was better. I learned that is not true. The simple things tend to be a little bit harder to do in many ways, and much more valuable because I can use them in so many more places. All right, so we're going to do this from ballet. Okay, so this is second position parallel. We're going to start with first position with the arms. Okay, and this is very similar to what we just did. This is also one of my go-to exercises for ever, since I first learned it. All right, so stand straight, the hips are open and the legs turn out. My feet are turned down a little bit past 45. Knees stay over the toes. That means this part of the leg has to wrap to the outside, and I need to be paying attention to where my knees are. Okay, so not to the inside, not to the outside, straight over the toes. Little bend. The heels do not come up. Okay, and again, little bend. The goal here is to bend as far as you can without bringing your heels up. Push down through the back of the leg as you rise. Pull up. So push down through the back of the leg. Right here. Start push down through the back of the leg and pull up as you push down. So the upper body, torso pulls up, everything pulls up as the legs push down through the back of the leg. Push down, pull up. Again, open and push down, pull up. All right, relax for a second. You should feel just a little bit this sense of pulling up here and a loosening in the hip, particularly in the back of the hip, right here, okay? That gluteus maximus, not that muscle, but the ones underneath it that actually hold the leg in place, those muscles, you should feel those are more relaxed so that it's easier to open the hip. We're going to do the same set, except we're going to do it in its second position. So from here, now I told you I have training. Step out with the toe, place the heel. All right? This point gives you your stance. That's how you find it. Toes point out. Same thing with the arms. Open and close. Keep the back straight. This idea of pull up through the center and wrap the legs to the outside, push down, and pull up. Open. Push down and pull up. Again. Keep going. Keep the back straight. Do not let the heels come up. No matter how low you sink, right? Heels stay on the floor. Pull up through the waist. Let the leg open in the hip. 2 more. Pay close attention to how this feels in your hip. We're going to make a comparison in just a minute. 1 more. All right, relax. Turn your toes in so both toes are forward. This just a little bit wider than shoulder width. Do this again. Sink. Pay attention to your hip. Pay close attention to what your leg is doing in your hip. All right, relax. What happens, and I've talked about this before, what happens when the leg is straight forward, so parallel. The way that the leg sits in the hip is here. Right? So we have some ability in the back of the hip to turn the leg this way. We don't have so much ability to turn the leg this way. Right? going forward. If I turn my leg, which is what we just did, I now have much greater facility to turn my leg this way. I can still go to the back, but now I have that facility to go to the front. This is because of the shape of the bone of the top of the leg. All right, it's practical, it's just practical. All right, in order to do some of the movements that we have, particularly I'm thinking of Bagua, worked on it a couple of days this week. This hook step that we have that comes around means that my hip, that's not my leg doing all of that, it's my hip. Right? If my leg is not able to move in the hip, I'm going to lock my leg. I'm going to lock my leg in my hip, and I'm going to try and do that. You're going to see that this is wrong. Don't do this. Right? Open hip. The greater we have a facility to move, the easier it is to do all of the things that we're trying to do. In choosing, what am I going to choose? Look, hey, I could do 5 hours of warm-ups and not be done. A little footwork. I do this while we talk. From straight standing, shift the weight to one side. I'm going to go to my left first. Raise the heel and put it down. Pick it up, put it down. Let the entire leg work through that, whole leg, and as you push forward onto your toes, open your toes so that you could go up, because we're going to do that in a minute. All right? Warming up the feet, okay? We're going to do a little bit of ankle as well. Okay, so shift onto your right, I'm on my left. Raise the toes, put it down. Bring it up, put it down. Bring it up, put it down. Keep going. All right, so this idea of what are my goals? Why am I practicing? I'm going to do 5 hours of warm-ups. Again, I don't have 5 hours time every day to do 5 hours of warm-ups and then practice something else. What am I going to do? How do I choose? What are my goals? What do I want to accomplish? Other leg. Am I working toward developing my skills in Tai Chi? Then maybe I want to spend more of my time doing warm-ups that are connected more closely to what I do in Tai Chi. Ultimately, what we end up with last time, what we end up with is practice that supports the kinds of things that we're trying to do. I want to work on my jumps. Heels together. This is first position, ballet first. We just did this, right? Little bend, demi-plie. Straighten the legs, push up, and keep going. And come down, and again. All right. We just warmed up the feet. Push up. All right. This set, we're going to repeat this a couple of times, and hands just stay here, is the set that's used to warm up for jumps. so you don't hurt your legs, right? And pull up through the back, and open, sink, push down through the heel, keep pushing down, and push yourself up and down. Pull up over the legs, keep the back straight, open the toes, keep going. 2 more. And 1 more. And come on down. All right. With a little jump. Sink. Pull up. Ready and push. And down. Push and down. Push and down. Push. Push. 1 more. That ability, as you push up, okay? I have lousy jumps. I have really lousy jumps, okay? Just trust me on that. I have lousy jumps. I can still do some, right? It's not a skill that I've ever really sought to develop. Goals. Being able to do some was always enough for me. I was fine with, nah, I'm never going to fly through the air. It's just not going to happen. I can do some. There's a couple of jumps in Xingyi that I will show later that I do fly a little bit. But it's not the kind of thing that I've seen some of my Kung Fu brothers be able to do, that I've seen in tournament. It's not that kind of flying. I envy the folks who can do that. I'm not one of them. I do know what it takes to get up there. This set can help with that. Okay? Another part of that is being able to support the body and address this idea of this is, again, this is one of these basic ideas. Where's my weight? What am I doing with my weight? Where's my center? What am I doing with my center? My energy center? My weight center? My physical body center? What am I doing with that? Somebody that practices gymnastics pays a lot of attention to where their weight is and where their physical body center is, because you got to work with it. We pay attention to it in the internal arts in connection with the internal centers, the lower Tantian, the middle Tantian, upper Tantian. Most importantly, the lower Tantian, because that's where we generate the energy that extends out through the movements. So as we're moving into this physical effort, we're also paying attention to what's going on inside. Go back to dance again. Basic sets, right? We have, and we're going to do this right now, we have quite a bit of emphasis on leg work, right? So being able to move through and be able to sustain whatever the rest of the body is doing is the legs, right? So the lower body sustains and the upper body does whatever it's doing. If we don't have that sense of balance of what we're doing to sustain through the legs, we end up being, even on two legs, we end up being off balance. Okay? So we also, we also use the legs. There's more going on than just, I'm gonna stand here, right? So, how do we develop the same idea of how do I move this so that it's less here and more here? How do I loosen my legs? How do I open that up? Right? This process starts from foundations. Yeah, we're gonna do a couple things here. So I need to warm up my hip a little bit more while we're doing this. All right, and open the back leg and come on forward and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Some of the things that we do in dance contribute to this idea of opening the body and being able to do more with what we have. Keep going. And sink and change. So there's a lot of floor work, there's a lot of stretching that goes on to prepare for what we're going to do. Methodical, works through the entire body. And relax. With the foundation work that we do in the arts, particularly for me, the internal arts, the goal, the overarching goal, is to open and be able to sustain and control whatever the movement is that I want to do. I can't do every movement that I want to do. Can't. Knowing that matters. It's probably never going to happen. This one, yeah, I might. This one, yeah, just not today, right? Those goals. What do I want this? Do I really want to be able to do this? What do I need to practice in order to do that? What do I need to be able to do? What do I need to be able to do? I'm going to do a couple of basic leg sets. I've introduced these before. Bring the leg up to the shoulder and lower it slowly. Sit the wrist, hands push out to both sides. Remember that extension of energy from the lower dantian up through the middle dantian, that idea of a big T shape? Use it. Step left, right leg comes up. Lower it slowly. Use the heel, not the toe. One more. All right, come back around the other side. Step right, bring the left up. Lower it slowly. Slow as you can. One more. All right, relax. This, bring it up, lower it slowly. That slow lowering, and whether or not we use the front of the foot or whether we use the heel, will make a difference in how the leg feels. What we want to pay attention to is what we're doing here and through the upper part of the leg, so that as we bring the leg down, we control for bringing the leg down. We don't want to bring the leg down. I want to take my leg up there and leave it up there. Take the leg up, put it there. I used to be able to do that right about here. I never got this one, but I did get about this far, and it would stay there. I cannot do that today. I'm good at 45 maybe. I can bring this up, but that's not happening. Alright? There are some sets to do that. In dance, we have développé, extend the leg. The same idea that I just showed, and I'm going to wobble a little bit on this probably. Alright? As I bring my leg up to the knee comes up, and the leg is not going there. Okay? Hip is not strong enough to support my leg. It's not ready for that. How do I get it ready for that? This exercise we just did. Bring it up, resist. Bring it up, resist. And let's do this. First position. Push out through the toe. Bring the leg up. You want the leg to come up as far as it can. Here is good. Mine's not going anywhere close to that. Okay? It's not happening. Push out through the toe. Slide out. Bagua. Slide. And bring the leg up. Yeah, doesn't want it. Slide. Push. 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 Other side. Push, 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 push. One more. All right. As the leg reaches out, again, we do this with the arm. From here, this is my foot. Push, and come down. And push, and come down. And push. All right, my leg is not doing that today. Not happening. This is my point. If I decide that my goal is to be able to take my leg to at least 90, it's easier if you're a little bit above 90 actually. It's easier to hold it if you're about 110, but just let you know. All right, so up here, this is even easier to hold than this. All right, so if you got your leg up above 90, go for 120, 125. It really is easier. All right, as we develop that skill, we have to develop the body to be able to do that. So stretching, working the legs, developing the strength, developing the holding strength through the upper body, all of these things are necessary if we want to do this movement. I mentioned this idea of the sliding step, foot slides. We use similar concept in Bagua as we're stepping in Bagua, and the footwork, this idea of basically you're kind of massaging the floor with your foot, exactly the same. It's the same. So what am I looking for? What do I want? What do I want to develop? What skill do I want? Do I want to have good balance? Tai Chi stepping is very good for that. Do a little practice. Hands behind your back. Feet right shoulder width apart. Shift onto the left, bend the knee. Turn the right toes to 45. Transfer the weight to the right. Bring up the left. Bring it through. Place the heel. Transfer the weight. Shift back. Turn the toes to 45. Transfer the weight. Bring the foot through. Place the heel. And transfer the weight. And shift back. Do it again. Pay attention to where your weight is. Keep the foot open. Keep the knee over the toes. Center the weight through the back of your leg as you step through. All right, relax. Basic centering. If I'm paying attention right here, where's my weight? Where's my weight? It's over my back leg. Right? This movement out here. As I shift forward, I need to bring my weight over my supporting leg so that I can pick this one up and do whatever it is I want to do with it. Right? Now, there's greater flexibility if your other leg is bent. The position of your hip makes a difference. All right, the point is, if I'm here and I do this, it's going to be really hard for me to pick this leg up without throwing myself off balance. Likewise, if I'm here, I might be able to get under it, but that's not what we want. That's not the kind of practice that we want. Upper body stays straight. Everything works from the hip, working from the waist down. This brings me to one of the other key points, one of the other key things in all of our practice, and that is this connection through the waist. Upper body turns, lower body's connected. Lower body moves, upper body's connected. This centering through the body. Okay? So, this center, opposed to this center here, right? Lower Dantian, center. This is a geometric center, right? The center line through the body, so that we know where that is, that we can move around it. I'm going to do some turns in just a second. All right, that we can move around it. And that as we shift and turn, whether we're turning in a full circle or whether we're turning from an angle to an angle of 180, 290, come back around, right? Whichever direction we're going, however we're making that turn, that we know where the body center is and that we can spin around it. All right, for Bagua, we did this. And I'm going to do this just with the feet, right? As we step in Bagua, and I'm going to start over here, and I'm going to come around this way, and then we'll do it together. Okay? So my feet are together. I'm going to start out walking forward. My left foot is going to hook. Every time I step, my left foot is going to hook. And I'm going to keep that right leg a little bit narrow so that the hook step makes a small circle. Relax. Okay. As we step, keep the body upright. Don't lean in. And pay attention to keeping it round. Keep that step round. We're going to start, shift the weight onto the left, extend the right, the left foot hooks. Go. Keep going. Fast walk, keep going. Hook the foot. Keep going. Slide and hook. Slide and hook, keep going. Keep going. One more, keep going. Alright, stop. Little spinning. Little dizzy. You should be. This is a good thing. This is not a bad thing. We can unwind that, we go back the other way. Alright. That idea, spin, fundamental. In sword practice, I'm here, you come around. It's not full 360, this is that 270, alright? So I'm here, spin. I have to know where I'm going. I have to know where I'm going. And that's part of what we want to pay attention to in whatever we're going to do in our fundamental practice, whatever we're going to do in our basic practice. It has to be regular. It should be something that is going to contribute to your overall practice, not specific to this or specific to that. So, for instance, Tai Chi stepping contributes to every other practice method that you can practice. Its focus is balance and placement. Opening the leg so that it can move freely from the hip. Keeping the body in balance and in good placement so that as you shift your weight, there is no off balance, that you remain in good balance throughout the step. Shift, open, where's your hip, where's your head, where's your balance, step through, and shift back. Pay attention to your balance. Where's your weight? Bring the leg through. If you wobble, pay attention to it. Most of the time, it's because your weight is not distributed where it needs to be. Could be too much to the front of the leg, could be too much over the foot, leaning out forward to the foot, could be too much tension in the hip, could be holding tension in the upper body so that the lower body doesn't move freely. That let go of the tension, being able to relax, and not the sense that we normally have of relax. This is, in Chinese, it's called fa song. Song. Alright, I'm ready. What are we doing? Let's go. That's fa song. Okay, I'm ready. Here we go. I'm relaxed now. No, that's an overcooked noodle. Okay? No. Okay? So, fa song. Everything's open, everything's relaxed, everything's ready. I can do what I am capable of doing today. I can do as I choose. The ability to achieve that level and to be able to do that without a lot of extra warm-up is one of the things that we want to work for. Okay? Put this in the context of martial arts. The standing joke from a lot of folks when I was very first learning Tai Chi was, you want to fight somebody in slow motion. Well, right. Everything moves slowly. We're paying attention to how much we can focus on, this is from Yang style Tai Chi, how much we can focus on these individual movements, the little bitty ones, from the shoulder, through the upper arm, to the elbow, to the forearm, and out through the hand. All the way through, including coordination with the upper and the lower body, with the changes in weight, with the changes in breath, and with the changes in the shape of the movement. Developing that skill, that slow motion, right? That wasn't slow motion. What? I decided that's what I was going to do, and I did it. I told my body, this is what I'm going to do. That's it. Done. That connection, particularly for the internal arts, is one of the things that we work for. How do we get there? One of the ways is this very slow practice, because we develop the ability to move at will, at speed. I wasn't moving slow. At speed, in application. Okay. So, would I try to defend myself by telling this person over here, please slow down? I'm gonna do something here. Give me a minute. I gotta move slowly here. No. No. Do this with me. Stand straight, feet about shoulder width apart. Use this idea that I gave at the beginning of the set, where we're just opening the arms. Use that idea. To raise the arms to the front. And then lower them. So everything extends outward and then pulls back, returning to the lower Tantian. One more time. Reach out through the whole arm, through the fingertips, keep the feet grounded, bend the knees just a little bit, and pull back in. Now, decide that's what you're going to do, and do it. One more. Make the decision, see the movement, and do it. Part of that is knowing what you're going to do. I have the idea in my mind. I understand exactly what I'm doing. I know what I need to connect, and which parts I'm going to connect, and I've decided this is what I'm going to do, and this is how I'm going to do it. All of those decisions happen right here. That's it, right there. This moving as quickly as you choose is another one of those basic fundamental skills. This is what I have to work with. What can I do with it? I got options, what can I do? Alright, so the first thing to pay attention to is, what do you want to do? What are your goals? What do you want to accomplish? I want to become really good at Xingyi. I want to become really good at Bagua. I want to become really good at sword. I want to, yeah, right? I want to have better flexibility in my hips. I'm getting a little bit older, and I want to have better flexibility in my hips. I am just getting started, and I have ambition to join Cirque du Soleil. Cool. Foundations will help with that. All of those things are goals that we might have. Which exercises? How do we do what? Choose which one. How do I choose which one? I'm going to do this one today, I'm going to do this one tomorrow, I'm going to do another one next week, I'm going to do this. And that will not get you facility with that exercise. Repetition gets you facility with that exercise. Alright, so I have not practiced a full bar, ballet bar, in many years. I haven't practiced it. I remember it because for 3 years I practiced it 5 days a week. But I haven't practiced it that much over the last, I don't know, at least 10 years. Okay? Shifting here, open here, jeté, demi, and it goes all the way up, not today. Those levels, along the floor, just a little bit off to the 45 and up to 90 or higher, are foundation. Everything out of the bar, everything out of the ballet bar is foundation for ballet. It warms up the entire body. When we do our stretches, this stretch that I do at the beginning, for me, that warms up everything. It gets everything moving because I pay attention to doing that. It's part of the exercise. It is a full body stretch. I add my thought process to that so that as I go through that stretch, I'm examining internally all of my joints. How's your ankle doing today? Ankle's fine. Left ankle, yeah, you're okay. Right ankle, yeah, we're fine. All right. Knees, yeah, we're good. Hip, no, take it easy on the hip today. How about the lower back? Lower back, you doing all right? All right. I go through that whole litany while we're doing this stretch. I'm checking. What do I need to release? What do I need to pay attention to? What do I need to include or exclude today? If I'm going to do those leg sets, the kicking sets, so I'm going to try and bring my leg up, I am going to do the hip warm-ups. I'm going to. Right? If I want to, you do this with me. This foot's about 45, and I'm on my right, you can be on your left. We're going to extend, creep out on the other toes, right? Try not to lean too much, right? Shift all of your weight to your sustaining leg, in this case it's my right leg. Shift your weight, extend the other leg, open the hip, keep the hip down, keep the body straight, sink into the leg, sink just behind the heel. Not much weight on this leg. It's all over here, 90, 95% over here. This guy maybe 10%. Just a little bit. Keep going. All right, and push through to the other side. Don't come up, just push through to the other side. Same thing. bring that hip over the heel, right? So that on this side, you've got a good line straight down to the heel. Don't turn this leg out too much. Okay, so you don't want the knee all the way over here to the side, you want it on 45. Same place as your foot. Alright, and sink. Alright, come on up. Other side. Sink into it. Push. 2, 3, 4, 5. And other side, push down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Come back to the right. Other side, 1. You're on your left, over here. And other side, push through. Alright, come on up. That set, that simple, easy set, is something that I used to stand in front of the TV and practice. A couple hours a night. I had, my hips were more open and my legs were stronger back then. If I were to do this set and to repeat that practice, it would take me about 2 months-ish, 3 months maybe, to recover my ability to go all the way down. That's on my list, right? That's on my list. If I'm learning it for the first time, it's going to take longer. It's going to take longer because your body doesn't know how to do it. You knowing how to do something is different than your body knowing how to do it. When I talk about, as we sing here, don't let this happen. Keep your hip over, and in some cases, keep your hip behind the heel. That's because as we go all the way down, you ain't never going to get there if you're out here. If your hip's tucked like this, you're never going to get all the way down. It's not going to happen. Well, you can fall, but it's not going to happen. If your hip is open, right? Drop the hip, keep this open, the back stays straight. How much I sink depends on the angle of my leg and how much support I can provide in going up and down. The plie that we did, if you're working the back of your leg here, when you're looking for how far you can go here, you've got a little bit more that you can work with. Foundation. Where do I need the strength? What kind of strength do I need? Do I need the strength to execute the movement? Do I need the strength to sustain my body, to sustain something else as another part of my body is doing this movement? What am I doing? Right? I need to sustain. My upper body is going to do something, right? Ward off, right side. This lower body has to be able to sustain. In dragon and tiger joined together, I need to be able to transfer that weight, and we're going to do this with me. Feet about shoulder width apart. Shift to the left, both arms up, right heel kick, out, step through, circle, hamstring the loop. Again, shift, both hands, step through. Pay attention to the weight transfer here. Shift, both hands, step through. As we come out here, Tai Chi stepping, shift, Am I too far over? Yes, I am. Don't lean. Weight centers over the heel. Bring the leg up. Shift. Weight centers over the heel. Get ready and however much force I'm going to come out with, I have to have enough strength sustaining so that if I hit something, I don't push myself back. Heavy bag, hit something, right? Physics, equal and opposite reaction. If you do not have sufficient sustaining strength when you try to extend the energy, you will knock yourself off balance. Making sure that you understand that concept, that how do I extend my energy, which it's not just out. It's not. It's not, right? Heavy bag, yes. Brick wall, no. Because I was going to demonstrate what I'm talking about, but I'm not going to do that because all I got is a brick wall, and I'm not going to hurt my foot. Another one of those things you want to not do in practice. Don't hurt yourself. Listen to your body. Pay attention to what your body is telling you. This, I talked about this one. Basic stretch. I'm doing inventory. All right, hips. How you doing this morning? Yeah, we tired. Oh no. All that stuff you did yesterday? No. It's okay. Well, we're going to open up now, aren't we? Right? That's part of my litany that goes on as I start my warm-up. It's that checklist. Let's get ready. What are we going to do today? Doing that gives me which warm-ups I need. What do I need to do today? Well, if I want to do the low work, I need to warm up my ankle, my knee, and my hip. If I want to pay attention to the upper body work, if I want to pay attention to the internal work, I need to slow down. I need to slow down. If I'm going to pay attention to how fast can I move, I darn well better be warmed up. All right? As we go through all of these sets, each one has something that we want, something special. It's the nature of the arts that we want to pay attention to. Dance, the two ladies that I remember the most, Ms. Shirley Weaver and Ms. Titania Dubanovska. Ms. Shirley was Cacchetti method. Everything was pretty. Everything was light. It was very nice. And developing the strength to be able to do that was not easy. In Ms. Tanya's class, everything should be strong. It should be precise. And it should be exact. They're both teaching ballet. In Yan style Tai Chi, we want this idea of big, flowing, rounded movements. Nicely balanced. Quiet. Elegant. Those are my choice of words. Everything works together in harmony. With a similar timing and flow. Very much like a quiet stream, not moving too fast, not moving too slow, just moving along. And we practice more slowly to develop the skills to practice more quickly. Wudang style Tai Chi we want to use the whole body, particularly the waist and the lower dantian, as we move. This ability to center through the lower dantian and to initiate movement from the lower dantian is not a trivial skill. In Bagua, we open the waist. This has to be open in order for this to turn. If this is closed, if I'm sinking down here, this turning doesn't happen. This stays open, pulled up. As I turn, right? Come around through the steps. I use the waist. I pay attention to how the legs are moving under me. And, unlike Tai Chi, I want to develop the skill to move more quickly, to spin, and go back in the other direction. Turn around and go back. As well as some other aerodynamic moves, right? In Xingyi, we have this pull in, everything pulls into the lower dantian and holds. Not moving. Now, that was me not moving. And then, again, when we decide that connection, that ability to connect the inside with the outside, gives us the ability to do these movements. It's not coming from a physical effort only. There has to be the physical body participating, otherwise there's nothing going on, right? But without the internal workmanship, without using the internal energy, fundamental for all of the internal arts, it's another move, another something. I've talked about specific moves, talked about some general things. One of the things that I have not mentioned as much as I should goes with Qigong, breath practice. And that is the coordination of the breath with the body. Talked about, mentioned it frequently. I haven't put it in so much in these particular classes. It is one of those fundamental things that we develop, that we learn, so that as I open, I breathe in. As I close, I breathe out. And breathe in, breathe out. That, again, and I'm just 3 times. Breathe in, breathe out. Feet are parallel. Breathe in, breathe out. It's a full breath. Breathe in, breathe out. Do this with the words for breathe in and breathe out. Hu, chi, hu, chi, this, relax. All right, this continuous sound, this who, breathe in, she, breathe out. Who, she is breathing. It literally means breathe in, breathe out in Mandarin. When I started learning, one of the ways that Professor Liu used to teach this breath work was to give this sound. Right? So, who, she, continues through the entire movement. So we don't have breathe out, whoo, finish the move, breathe in, right? We don't do that. It's full and continuous. Developing that skill so that the breath is full and continuous regardless of what movement you're doing. Especially in the more athletic sets, it's very important. Bagua, I just showed a little bit. Xingyi, just the little first part of the linking form. If my breath is not well coordinated with my movements, I can't do that. It seems like it shouldn't be that much, but it's more than it appears. And I'm going to be teaching this, so this is the idea that as we develop our skill in foundation practice, if all I do every day is to get up in the morning, let's a little bit turned down, toes off to the side, get up in the morning, and I do this. Right? That's it. Just do this 10 times. 8 times 16, right? Pick a number. More is better. 100. More is better. Every day. Every day. At the end of 1 month, okay, at the end of 2 days, your legs are going to be real sore. If you're putting effort into it, at the end of 2 days, your legs are going to be sore. At the end of the first week, your legs will be stronger. They'll still feel a little bit sore after you practice. This is if you're doing 100 of these, right? They'll still feel a little bit sore after you practice, but you'll pretty much be good. And you'll start feeling, as after 1 week, you'll start feeling that instead of getting tired when you hit 30, you get tired when you hit 70. Yeah, 1 to 100, right? At the end of a month, 1 month, it'll be, okay, next. Just this. Done correctly. That means it's not just bend my knees here and whatever. It's as I open, everything extends, push down through the heel, keep the toes on the floor, keep the toes gripped to the floor, and as I come up, push through the back of the leg, wrap the front of the leg to the back, and pull up through the torso. All of that goes on inside. You don't see it on the outside. You should feel it. If you do that, again, 100 times every day, give yourself a day off. 6 days a week. 5 days a week, even. For a month. At the end of that month, this movement will seem effortless. And if you're practicing any of these arts, you will find that your center is now much more accessible, much more dominant, and that you're able to work with it much more easily. This is a starting point. These are the foundations. Without some foundation, pick one, without some foundation in structured, repeated, regular, basic practice to develop your body, muscles, connections, all of that. Any other practice is going to be incomplete. It's going to not have that solid foundation, that sense of rootedness, that sense of knowing exactly what you're doing through the move. That skill, knowing what you're doing. That's how you get to the point that you decide what you're going to do and do it. If you don't know what you're doing, you can't get to the point that you're going to decide you're going to do it. This is at the very visceral level. You have to feel it, you have to find it in your own body, and you have to be able to connect with it. This isn't, you can put your hand at 0.07 centimeters and you can put this over here. No, you have to feel it. That's the part of the art that comes with all of these sets. Understanding what your body is telling you, understanding what the art wants you to do. Tai Chi, Xingyi, Bagua, Qigong, Liu Ba Fa, Shaolin, all of these want something a little bit different. What does it want? How do we move in these sets? What kinds of movements? What kinds of applications? What kinds of things should we be able to do? I want to learn Bagua. I'm going to have to practice turns a lot so that I don't get dizzy, right? I want to learn Xingyi, but I'm really impatient. I'm going to have to learn to be patient because in Xingyi we must wait. We must learn to wait. And we must learn to store up that energy while we're waiting. In Tai Chi, maybe a little more lyrical is fine, not too much, a little bit. That ebb and flow, that leaving and coming back. Maybe that appeals to me more because of the rhythm. Qigong works with it. Your own breathing pattern and develops that breath so that the breath is fully connected inside and outside. Maybe that's the principal thing that you want to accomplish. That flexible, easy, relaxed movement. Maybe application's not something you're particularly interested in. That's fine. Not everybody practices everything, and that's, again, 5 hours of basic practice. Let's do some warm-ups. I can do that I just did, 5 hours. Actually, it's a little bit more than that. And I didn't include everything, okay? What are we going to choose? Well, when my focus is practicing Xingyi, I'm going to practice the things that are going to help my Xingyi. When my focus is practicing Bagua, I'm going to focus on those things that are going to help my Bagua practice. All right? Each time we do that, each time we pick one, all of the ones that we didn't pick gain some benefit. Side effects, right? As we practice slowly, I talked about this earlier, in Tai Chi, as we practice very slowly, we develop the skill to connect with the inside and the outside body, the outside physical body, the inside energy body, so that when we choose to move, we do so. We decide, I'm going to do this. That's it. That's all that's necessary. That decision. We want that connection. We want that ability, right? Then I need to practice that. I need to stand still, find my body parts, all of them, take some practice, and then pay attention to how I want to use those body parts. What am I going to do? Walk straight, blah, blah, slide step. What did I have to do in order to angle, knee, hip, balance? Tai Chi, step through. I need to be paying attention to my center. Which direction am I going? How am I turning? How am I moving through the form? Because we are turning, right? Xingyi. Hold in place. As I step, being prompt and sudden through the move. How do I develop that skill? Right? That's what I'm working on. Santibu. Hold. Stay there. 5 minutes. 5 minutes is a really long time. Okay? 2 minutes is good. Okay? 5 minutes is a really long time. 10 to 15 minutes, it's excellent. It sounds easier than it is, trust me. Right? As we practice that, we develop the skill. This is not passive. Pay attention to all three of the heavenly circles. We're paying attention to bringing the energy into the lower dantian and extending it through the top, the middle, and the bottom. Learning how to do that gives us that ability to be quiet, quiet the body, and at the same time pay attention to what the inner body is doing. So we pay attention, especially in, and I'm going to beat up on this because I'm just about done. All right, this idea that what we're doing inside, all of the things that I've talked about today, all the things that I've talked about in all the foundation classes, all of the kinds of things that I'm going to continue to keep talking about because that's what we practice, all of these things are not outwardly visible. What am I paying attention to? Where's my focus? What am I trying to do here? You don't know. You wouldn't know unless I told you. Right? All that's visible outwardly is the outward posture. it doesn't show you, even if you're standing right next to me, you would feel something. You would most definitely feel whatever it was I was doing, but you wouldn't know. You wouldn't intellectually know unless I told you. That being able to feel it when you're in the same room, that's what a lot of folks refer to as that direct transmission. I can feel what this should be because I'm standing next to someone who knows what it should be. Anybody that's ever stood next to somebody who knows what they're doing in any kind of movement class, any type of situation that we need to go here and we need to go there, we need to all join hands and go together. Anybody that's ever stood next to the person who knows what they're doing, who's done this before, understands exactly what I'm talking about. That's most of us, really. All right? That's most of us. You feel what the other person knows. And that makes it easier for you to do it. Even with that, unless you know what you're paying attention to, unless you know what you should be paying attention to, it's not going to be there. And I've had the experience of speaking with folks, teaching a couple of them, that wanted to learn, they wanted to understand, but they were stuck on the external movement. Well, it's like this, right? This is what we do. The hands come up and the hands go down. That's all. That's what we pay attention to, right? This beginning of Yang style Tai Chi. Okay? I step here, hands come up, hands come down. That's it. That's all I need to pay attention to, right? That's how we do Tai Chi. We do raise the hands and put the hands down. That's all there is. No, there's not. I'm not sure if it comes across in the video, but it would come across in person that that last raise the hands was not the same as the other one. Okay? There's this part of using the whole body that's different than that. And again, that let me show you. It's hard to do. It's video. I can complain about it or I can come up with something. This idea of pull down comes through in this move. If that's not present, the move is incomplete. How do you know that it's supposed to be there? I just told you. These foundations, understanding what you're looking for. Am I paying attention to the outer movement? Not entirely. Am I looking for balance? Am I looking for continuity? Am I looking for placement? What am I looking for? What are my goals? What do I want to accomplish? In my fundamental practice, that's where those goals are the most important. I want to develop my skill to be able to stand on one leg. Well, then you need to practice standing on one leg. Yeah? You do. All right? I can't do that today. All right? Well, then get something that you can hold on to and bring your leg up a little bit. And when you're comfortable with that, then bring it up a little bit more. And when you're comfortable with that, let go of whatever you were holding on to and hold it there. Each time you do something that's a little bit more difficult, hold on to the chair, bring the leg up a little bit. Not so difficult. Hold on to the chair, bring the leg up a little bit more. a little more difficult. Don't hold on to the chair, bring the leg up, okay? Don't hold on to the chair, bring the leg up a little bit more. All right? That progression gives you the skill. It's foundations. What's your foundation? You already can stand on one leg. Not a problem. Cool. How'd you get there? How'd you develop that? Remember that. Because you will use it over and over and over again as you analyze what you're doing in any of the forms and any of the movements so that you can improve. And I think that's probably the last thing that I'm going to mention today, and this is this idea of looking at what you're doing. We're going to be doing a lot more of that. I'm going to be doing a lot more of that in class. Looking at what you're doing, analyzing what you've done. Knowing what you're doing, you have to know, and then analyzing what you've done and say, well, is this good? Is this not good? Is this what I want to be able to do? Is this not? And what do I need to do to fix it? If it's not what I want, what do I want? And how can I get there? Which exercises, which body parts are causing the problem, analysis, so that I can now move that forward. I can move my practice forward and do more. Is that what I want to be able to do? I want to be able to do more. What's your goal? As we look toward what that goal is, we choose what we're going to practice. We choose how we practice. Some things we like, some things we don't. If we don't like it, we're probably not going to practice it that much. Might be helpful, but we're not going to practice it that much. This part of understanding what we want to accomplish, analyzing what we're doing so that we can improve on it, so that we can develop that skill, so that we can do more, that we can be better, that we can improve both the physical body condition and the internal body condition. This is the mind-body connection, right? We feel better physically, we feel better mentally. We feel better mentally, we can do more physically, right? That whole connection is something I haven't talked about a lot in these sessions, but it's another one of those fundamental things. We want to build that. We want to build on that so that long term, what's your long-term goal? What do you want to do? I want to be national champion. Okay. What do you have to do to get there? It's my goal. What do I want to do? What do I have to do to get there? What's my level of practice need to be? Right? For starters, that's one of the things that you have to. Am I competitive? If that's what I'm going to go do, can I be competitive? I want to forestall the aging process. I want to keep my joints open, and I want to keep my veins and arteries in the best condition possible so that I can enjoy my great-great-great-great-grandchildren. I don't have great-great-great-great-grandchildren, but that's my goal. Practice will help with that too. How we sustain our practice has a lot to do with actually getting up and practicing. Our body gets used to it, we want to do it. And what's my goal? What do I want to accomplish? I want to feel better. I want to get up in the morning, I want to do some exercise, I want to feel better, I want to be able to go about my day and feel like I did something. And I don't wanna go buy an expensive machine, and I don't wanna have to always watch somebody on TV or always watch a video. I wanna practice something that I can practice on my own. Qigong, Shen, Tai Chi, Bagua, all of these require a little bit of open space and the knowledge of how to practice, what to pay attention to. Alright, that wraps up, for me, that's going to wrap up this series of fundamentals. I tried to answer a little bit why we want to practice. What's the point? What are we doing with some of these sets? Why do I want to do this if I'm going to do this other thing? Some things will not contribute that much to your Tai Chi practice, for example. Alright, so if you go to the swimming pool and you practice swimming, it will help. It won't contribute nearly as much as this set coordinated with the breath, or walking set coordinated with the breath, or even cloud hands. This is from Yang style cloud hands, this is from Wudang style cloud hands. Going to a swimming pool, swimming laps, will not help your Tai Chi as much as pretending that you're doing laps and doing 100 of these sets. Right? It won't. It will help with other things. The same holds true for exercises I gave from dance, as well as the things that we do for Tai Chi will help with Bagua, the things that we do with Shen will help with Tai Chi. All of these things are interrelated. We provide that relationship. Okay. How each of these pieces are connected to my practice is me. That's the connection. It's me. You will have different things in your practice that you will do on a regular basis, including coming to this class, right? That are not the same as what I do. That's a good thing. Some things can be the same, some things different. As you develop what you are going to practice, you choose which sets you want to work on now, which sets, yeah, I'm going to work on that a little bit later. That model is something that I used frequently. I'm going to mention this just because. That choosing what I'm going to practice now, what are my goals? If I try and practice everything at once, I practice nothing well. Can't do it. You can't do it. Pick one. I used to teach an open class, and we did some basic warm-ups, and we did Wudang's 3 basic methods, and then we'd split up. People want to learn Tai Chi, go over here. You want to learn Bagua, over here. You want Qigong over here. Everybody practiced on their own. I go around to different groups and do corrections and give them some new sets so that we have more to work on. And the only thing that I asked people to do was to pick one. Don't try and do them all at the same time. Pick one. So, you want to learn Tai Chi? Great. Start over here with Tai Chi. Get halfway through Tai Chi and you decide, I don't like Tai Chi. It's not working for me. It doesn't feel right. It matters. Let me try Bagua. Okay. You go practice Bagua. You're not practicing Tai Chi anymore. You're going to practice Bagua. Okay. Ooh, I like Bagua. Bagua, yeah, Bagua's fun. I like Bagua. Yeah, okay. Keep practicing. Yeah, I really don't like Bagua either. Can I try Shen? You're not practicing Bagua anymore. You're not practicing Tai Chi anymore. You're practicing Shen. As students worked through that, they found, number one, certain things that they liked and certain things they didn't. And they developed a skill, one of the skills, right, basic skills in this art, basic skills in that art, basic skills over here, so that they could distinguish which ones they liked and which ones they didn't. Here's some broccoli and some spinach and some green peas. Which one would you like? Maybe none of the above, all right? That's the idea. As you learn what's required, you may decide, it's not working for me. Right? Someone who has a fairly forward personality may not like the idea of Tai Chi being predominantly defensive. There's not much offense in Tai Chi, unless we decide to use it that way. All right, so in normal practice, that ebb and flow, nice and easy, right? Doesn't appeal. Oh, Shani, I can see that. Yeah, I like that, right? These choices are personal choices that we make for our own practice. Everybody chooses differently. Everybody's got a different thing that I like this, I don't like this. You might like most of Tai Chi, but a couple moves not so much. You go ahead and practice them anyway. You probably, maybe I don't like Ba Ba so much. Hey, I'm not going to practice it, right? As we pick one, we gain that knowledge. What belongs to this art? What are the things that I'm going to cultivate in this art? What are the things that I'm going to work on over here? What belongs to this art? What do I need to develop in order to work these things, in order to be able to do these things? Right? That balance, placement, position, understanding, all of those fundamentals are part of everything that we do. We choose which ones we're going to practice. Partly based on our personality, partly based on our goals, partly based on what time of year it is. As we make those decisions, we develop that skill. That skill to make those decisions, to be able to analyze what we're doing, and to be able to find what we want to gain from our practice, and then apply the knowledge that we have to do that. All right, I spent a lot more time talking this morning than I intended to. I intended to do a little bit more, some of the warm-ups and some of the things from dance, but as I thought through what I had planned for today and what really needs to be part of foundation practice, this is what seemed to be the most important. Next week, Xingyi. We're going to do Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Pi-Chuan on Monday. Zhuan-Chuan on Tuesday. Beng-Chuan on Wednesday. With the turns, I'm going to beat up on them probably a little bit more than, I'm going to try not to talk quite so much, but I'm going to beat up on them a little bit. And then I'll do another series of analysis that goes with. As we practice those, and the following week we're going to do, we're going to work on Pao-Chuan and Heng-Chuan, as well as a little preview of the linking form. Thursday and Friday, next week, I restart Qigong class, so Thursday, beginning sets 1 through 9, and Friday, the advanced sets 10 through 18 for Wudang Qigong. All of the things that we've worked on here in these fundamentals have bearing on everything that we practice. I hope that your takeaway from this whole series is that we pick something that we're going to do, and we repeat it over and over and over, and we keep repeating it, because as we do that, we not only develop the skill, but we get comfortable with that movement so that it feels good. And when you walk out the door after practice, you want to feel good. Okay? I don't want to walk out the door and go, oh man, I'm so glad practice is over. No, no. I want to walk out there, okay, hey, I'm done practice now, thanks, appreciate it, and we're gonna go do something more. I'm gonna go do what's next. That level of energy, that I feel better, is absolutely one of the things that we want to walk out of the practice room with. Talked a lot about getting in here. What do we want to take out? That ability, that feeling of I've done something, I feel good about what I did, my body feels good, I'm ready to go do something more. I appreciate you being here. Thank you.